You're watching a special Tornado Facts with Beanrock124 video. My name is Nathan and I talk about tornadoes all the time. This one I talked about way too much yet again because it just happened a couple days ago. This was the tornado outbreak of January 12th, 2023. Now you're probably wondering why I didn't make one about the tornado outbreak of January 2nd through 4th of 2023. That's because that one wasn't as significant as this one. Has been much worse. So, an early season tornado outbreak impacted the southeastern United States on January 12, 2023, the result of a mid-level trough where moisture and the presence of a strong low-level jet aided the development of multiple severe thunderstorms. A strong EF2 tornado caused considerable damage in Winston County, Alabama, while another EF2 tornado struck Greensboro, Alabama. I saw that one watching radar. A destructive high-end EF2 tornado struck Selma, causing widespread damage. There's so much I could talk about with this tornado outbreak. I watched it from almost start to finish. The same storm produced a long-lived tornado of at least EF3 strength, that moved through Old Kingston, Marbury, and Titus, resulting in 7 deaths and several injuries in Attuga County alone. Another tornado from the storm struck 5 Points, Stroud, and Standing Rock before crossing into Georgia. More tornadic damage was observed in LaGrange and Griffin, the latter of which was struck by an EF3 tornado. So there have been 2 EF3 tornadoes from this outbreak, and those are the highest rated tornadoes of this outbreak. Other tornadoes caused damage in Sumter and Mobile counties in Alabama, as well as parts of Tennessee, Kentucky, and South Carolina. In Georgia, a passenger died when a tree fell on a vehicle in Jackson. Radar. There was 3 dominant supercells that day, on Thursday. The northern one, which was approaching Birmingham from the south, it was still a considerable distance from Birmingham, but it was like 7 miles south of Brent, which is almost midway between Tuscaloosa and Birmingham. That was supercell number 1. That thing died off. Number 2 came in north of north of Montgomery, Alabama. Here, let's pull up a map so you can see. So number 1 supercell there. Number 2 supercell here. So they did have a hatched area for January 12th. Okay. Supercell number 2 tracked about 500 miles from, I believe, Arkadelphia, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, through the Atlanta metro. I believe there was a tornado in the Atlanta metro as well. And then supercell number 3 starting in Mississippi, going through Mobile, and I believe went south of Macon there. But these were the only tornado risk. The main damage from the tornado barely occurred in the forecasted area for significant tornadoes, which was unusual. So on January 11th, the Storm Prediction Center outlined a level 1 marginal risk of severe weather across the Mid-South valid for the overnight and early morning hours. Although the environment was initially capped, conditions were expected to become more conducive for severe weather given the approach of a mid-level trough and a gradually moistening air mass. A more threat for organized severe weather evolved on January 12th, the day of the event, when the organization issued a level 3 enhanced risk of severe weather centered across central and eastern Alabama and northwestern portions of Georgia. Now keep in mind, just a day prior to this outbreak, remember January 11th, only a marginal risk of severe weather with a 2% area of tornadoes. So the fact that this went up to produce a potential EF4 tornado north of Montgomery is unremarkable, especially in the month of January. I thought it was, and then later in the day on, later in the day on January 11th, Storm Prediction Center upgraded the tornado risk to 5% with a slight risk of severe weather. And then when I woke up in the morning on the 12th, when I made the forecast, it was upgraded yet again to an enhanced risk with a 10% tornado risk. I don't think a hatched area was issued, though, as far as I remember. Here, numerical weather prediction models indicated the presence of 8-kilometer Cape, 8 Celsius per, I believe that's cm, whatever. Mid-level lapse rates of 8. Great, I forgot what the C meant. What does that C mean? What? No. Lapse rates, I know it's lapse, but okay. At 500 to 1,000 joules per kilogram, Cape values supportive of transient supercells and Boeing segments. As such, a large 5% risk for tornadoes was introduced for most of the lower Tennessee Valley, including portions of Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and southern Tennessee, and northwestern South Carolina. As the day advanced, a more focused corridor for enhanced tornado potential became evident across central Alabama and northwestern Georgia, where effective storm relative helicity, a measure of the potential for updrafts of supercells, topped 200 meters squared per second squared, and Cape values rose into 1,000 to 1,500 joules per kilogram range. Despite these favorable parameters, the possibility for strong tornadoes above EF2 intensity was not included in this outlook. Kind of reminds me of May 3rd. However, as the morning advanced, a defined line of severe thunderstorms with embedded supercell structures and multiple discrete supercells developed across the highlighted area. Multiple tornadoes, some of which were significant, touched down and caused extensive damage. Numerous PDS tornado warnings were issued for the town of Heiberger, Selma, and Moviso. I think that's how you pronounce that town name. In Alabama, as large destructive tornadoes were reported. Now, with that, numerous PDS tornado warnings, I believe there were 7. Nope. I'm looking at the camera roll for all the ones I have saved. Okay. I got one. This was the tornado south of Brent. 7 miles south of Brent. So far, I only have one. Okay, I have the tornado emergency for Attuga County, which is this one here. I believe it was 3. But there were still tornado emergencies. Okay, 2. I think there were just 2. And then the one tornado emergency. I don't know why it says numerous here. Maybe I missed them. So anyways, the same storm that hit Selma prompted tornado emergencies for Attuga, Elmore, Chilton, Coosa, and Tallapoosa County before crossing the Alabama-Georgia borderline to continue northeast into Georgia. Excuse me, I cannot read. Ah, there it is. As the event unfolded, the SPCH introduced a 10% enhanced area for tornadoes in their 8 o'clock UTC outlook across east central Alabama and western Georgia. I think it was too late there. The long track supercell originating in Louisiana, actually, instead of Mississippi, where I said, that produced the Selma tornado, as well as the deadly Attuga County tornado, produced more tornadoes as it progressed to the northeast. These included one that crossed from Chambers County, Alabama, into Troup County, Georgia, another that caused severe damage to the town of LaGrange, and one that further caused damage in Griffin. So as of right now, as of recording this on January 14, 2 days after the event, no unrated tornadoes, 6F0, 15F1, 8F2, 2F3s, and as of right now, no EF4s or EF5s. I doubt that CF5 will be filled. EF4 possibly with the Attuga County tornado, for a total of 31 tornadoes plus. So there could still be tornadoes here. And in fact, there was a tornado in Illinois, the first one of the outbreak, southeast of Monkey's Eyebrow, Kentucky. That's the funniest name I've ever said. To west of Joppa, Illinois, which is near the metropolis area. Brief tornado there. Let's see, any significant Decatur. Okay, I believe I saw this one live. Utah, I saw this one live. I remember watching that. I have radar images of it. Let me see if I can find it again. I have way too many saved. Oh, yeah. The velocities for the Utah storm here on screen right now is actually the radar images from what I got from the Utah storm. This thing was around 9:53 a.m. And Utah is southwest of Birmingham by a considerable distance, and I believe northwest of Tuscaloosa. But that was only EF1 tornado, even though velocities honestly look pretty good. Next, the Greensboro tornado. I saw that one as well. If I can find it, can't remember where it was. I took so many screenshots of radar this day. No. No. Okay. I don't think I took pictures of the Greensboro tornado, even though I remember seeing it, because didn't look that bad. But whatever. Okay, here's the Selma one. All right, here's radar images on this one. We'll talk about this more in a second. Selma tornado. Where is it? I definitely have pictures. I have a video where I recorded. And by the way, when I recorded the videos I made on that day, I was in class. Luckily, I was able to get free time, but I didn't want to record the audio though, because why? Anyways, Selma. I mean, you can see the picture of the tornado on your screen right now, but I can't find the radar images, I swear. That's what happens when I take too many. Oh, I found the Greensboro one. It wasn't as significant, though. It's hard to tell where it was, though, but it's not that bad. Selma, if I find, I'll put it in the video. Anyways, and then here's the Autauga County one, 7 deaths. Here's the numerous what do you call it? Pictures or screenshots I have of the radar images and all that, including the tornado emergency tagline, which is the first one I've ever gotten. And here's the other EF3 tornado that happened there. Okay, and there's all the tornadoes, but here's the Selma one. I expect this to go down more. A large high-end EF2 tornado caused major damage in the city of Selma. The first tornado touched down on the east side of Orville near the intersection of State Route 22 and Cahaba Road around just after noon. Moving northeastward, the tornado steadily strengthened as it moved along Highway 22. Many trees were uprooted, with some tree trunks snapped, and several mobile homes, oh great, sustained roof and foundation damage. What? So it didn't get obliterated? After causing additional tree damage along Highway 22, the tornado began to rapidly intensify as it entered the southwest city limits of Selma. Many large hardwood trees were uprooted, and several softwood trees were snapped at halfway points of their trunks. Reaching a high-end EF2 strength, the tornado struck a daycare on West Dallas Avenue. This is a sad story here. The daycare was at West Dallas Avenue, Highway 22, and Cooper Drive, inflicting severe exterior wall damage to the structure with some debris rowing found from this area of damage. Now here, there were a report of 70 kids in this daycare, and only one of them had injuries, but it was only a little scratch, which is good. That only happened to one kid and not to all of them. It's still sad that the kid had an injury, but luckily it wasn't anything life-threatening. Further to the northeast, buildings at the Selma Country Club suffered heavy roof and exterior wall damage. Several extremely large hardwood trees were completely blown down, and many softwood trees were snapped. The tornado then weakened somewhat but remained strong as it hit the northern part of downtown Selma. Damage here mainly consisted of dozens of trees being snapped or uprooted, some of which fell on homes. Other homes had suffered minor roof damage, although many of the homes were sheltered under very large and older trees that took the brunt of the damage. It's kind of like, that reminds me of the tornado that hit Plainfield on April 26, 2007, where an EF0 tornado tore through a neighborhood on the northeast side of Plainfield, and most of the damage was caused to older trees, so that's kind of what this reminds me of. So damage in this area was rated high-end EF1 to low-end EF2. Upon exiting downtown along Highway 14, the tornado re-strengthened back to high-end EF2 intensity as a number of structures had exterior walls knocked down. The tornado then significantly damaged the Dallas County Jail on Selfield Road before beginning a weakening trend as it passed near Burnsville. The tornado then dissipated at Highway 140 around 12:30 p.m. So Alabama Governor Kay Ivey declared a state of emergency in Autauga, Chambers, Coosa, Dallas, Elmore, Tallapoosa counties, as well as Georgia Governor Brian Kemp for the whole state. Jesus. 3 separate tornado emergencies were issued as well. I only got one, though. So maybe I have to add to the list of tornado emergencies I have, which is a project I've been working on for a while. Anyways, at least 9 deaths resulted from this tornado outbreak, 7 of them being tornadic. All 7 occurred in Autauga County from a tornado of at least EF3 strength. A non-tornadic death occurred in, Butts County, Georgia. Okay, second graders, you can start laughing now. This was the result of a tree striking a vehicle and killing a child within. Oh, Jesus Christ, how ironic. I say all you second graders start laughing, and that happens. Okay. A Georgia Department of Transportation worker was killed in the aftermath of the storm. Multiple injuries occurred. An Alabama state trooper was hospitalized when his patrol vehicle was struck by a falling tree. This is why storm chasing in Alabama is not ideal, because you got all these big trees that can come down on the road and potentially crush people. In anticipation of severe weather, multiple school districts closed early in Alabama and Georgia. The University of Georgia's Griffin campus closed because of damage to buildings and trees on campus from an EF3 tornado. So approximately 37,000 people in Georgia or Alabama, and more than 78,000 people in Georgia were without power by the evening of January 12. Figures which included but were not limited to severe weather outages. Well, duh. But anyways, that has been a special Tornado Facts Beanrock124 video. This one being about the tornado outbreak of January 12, 2023. And with that, goodbye.